Hi, welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk About This. My guest today is a content creator. He's also in college, currently pursuing his master's for forensic mental health counseling. And he's also he formerly served as a president for the Black Student Union in college. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Jayvon Thomas. Jayvon, how you doing?
Doing well today. How are you?
I'm doing good. How's the weather over there where you at? It's cold.
It's cold,
Okay.
freezing. Located here in New York is cold. Yeah,
Okay. What part of New York you in?
the Bronx.
Bronx. Okay. You done boogie down Bronx, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Javon, I want to say I appreciate you coming on the platform
Of course.
and and sharing your story. This podcast is based on mental health, although we have a variety of people come on and talk about different topics, but the main topic that we I like to talk about is mental health because I think mental health is very important and it's something that we need to have more conversations about,
Right.
especially in the Black community. Although mental health is not a racist thing, but we we really have a big problem in the Black community as far as like people not having the resources as far as
Right.
mental health is concerned. So I want you to tell me your story about why you decided to become a mental health advocate. What happened in your life that sparked your
Mhm.
interest in becoming a mental health advocate?
So when I was about 11 years old, I had lost my grandmother. This is about almost half of almost 2 decades ago, and um, it changed my brain. It kind of changed me. I matured at a young age, and with like physiological and psychological changes happening, some, being damaging, as well as seeing other individuals suffering as well. I kind of wanted to do work within mental health and help people out that are suffering. So I formally interned during my undergrad year in John Jay College.
Mm-hmm.
I formally interned for Young Invincibles, and one of the aspects of the internship was mental health,
Mm-hmm.
especially for higher education students, especially during a time during COVID where students are having to struggle to kind of make ends meet. Everything's shifting online. Everyone's at home. What can we do to help out students? And so we spoke with different lawmakers to, around New York and New York City
Mm-hmm.
for both upstate students and students who are located in the city for to advocate for more mental health resources to be given at their campuses. And then after, well, actually during, I also had joined TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And on there, I began to kind of navigate around the Black community on TikTok and
Mm-hmm.
speak with so many amazing individuals about their battle with mental illnesses and mental
Mm-hmm.
health. And
Okay.
so what I've done was kind of create this forum for Black men. I call it Black Men Forum. And so
Mm-hmm.
what I do is that I speak with Black men of all ages, age range, and generations about their mental health, what they deal with in their mental health on a day-to-day basis. The turnout for the forum has been positive. A lot of Black men have began to the initiation of going to get help because we're seeing a lot of Black women going to go get help and going to therapy, but not enough Black men doing it. So
Right.
for me, a big thing for me right now is seeing a lot of young and older brothers going to get help because they need it, and
Right.
kind of being an encouragement, uh, uh, um, a net for them so that they're able to kind of see the different aspects of therapy as a whole.
Right. Now take me back to you said that you lost your grandmother. Did your grandmother raise you?
My mother and my grandmother did, yes.
Okay. And and what was the trauma that affected you as far was this after your grandmother passed away?
It was, yeah, it kind of was it happened quick. She passed due to cardiac arrest,
Okay.
and she was in the home with me and my younger brother. And seeing that kind of triggered something in me that I never felt or been through before.
Mm-hmm.
And even like during the process of like having to see her, and like the burial or just the whole process of it all, it kind of it did something different that I never felt before. And it was
Mm-hmm.
very traumatic. It was trauma.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then like I kind of lost like family after her and transitioning into like teenage into adolescent years. That was also another factor that kind of affected my mental as well. So it was numerous things, but that particular point in my life was a very traumatic one, I would
Right.
have to say.
Yeah. I guess because you and your grandmother, I'm pretty sure you guys were close. So
Yes.
yeah, I can understand. I can understand where you're coming from because I had it. I lost my mother. So, um, it's kind of hard to explain when you lose somebody close to you,
Absolutely. Yeah.
especially when it's unexpected. So what type of before we go forward into the things you're doing on the campus, uh what kind of resources did you seek out once you realized you needed mental help yourself? What kind of
Um,
resources did you?
my well, the school that I was going to before I graduated, in elementary school, my mother, she had reached out that we had a mental health professional that worked there, and she kind of helped me out in more ways than one.
Right.
Her name was Miss Baker Parks, and she sat with me every day and kind of like talked me in how I'm doing, what's going on, are you okay, kind of reassured me that things would be okay. And this was my last year in elementary school, so it was really a rough transition from elementary school into middle school.
Mm-hmm.
And then helping to like reach out to other resources around New York. We don't have a lot of resources, mental resources in my neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
so we had to like kind of reach out to like other boroughs
Okay.
for help. And then yeah, I've been in and out of therapy since 2009.
Mm-hmm.
Currently by way of New York psychotherapy organization where they help people locate a counselor. I was able to find somebody for me.
Mm-hmm.
I also at my campus we have a wellness center, and at the wellness center, people are able to go in and request services of different counselors within the psychology department.
Okay.
And their help, if they are not able to, then they are able to give other resources around the five different boroughs here in New York.
Okay. Okay. So you had mentioned that you're trying to reach out to the local officials to try to bring more resources within your community as far as mental health. Uh,
Yes.
do you have people working with you, or is this something that you're doing on your own as
It's
far as
a solo project for me because I like to be consistent at times, and I know that
okay.
with this kind of project and this kind of thing, I know people kind of you know it's a personal thing for a lot of
Okay.
people.
Right.
And so things may not get done in a certain amount of time, and so like for me, I email, I write, I try to schedule appointments, try to seek out as much as possible, especially within my community of seeing people that are suffering.
Right.
We have the bridge program that a lot of people don't utilize, and the bridge program also connects you with mental health professionals as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things that I learned like with doing this project is a lot of people are resistant to help, especially Black people, because we've been normalized to kind of do things on our own. Like, don't seek
Right.
out help, you'll be fine on
Right.
your own. And so even for me, it's been tedious, even like with starting something like this. And something like this is very important to me to
Right.
see the progression of Black people, and starting with improving our mental health is something that needs to be done. So
Right.
yes, right now it's been like touch and go.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a few people reach back out to me, but in the midst of that, I'm still working on accomplishing a goal, and that's to set up a counseling center in every one of the 5 boroughs, so
Right.
that people are able to, rely on that, and hopefully that be a center for people of color, whether
Right.
Black, Indigenous, and Creed. Someone is able to go there and kind of seek out help.
Yeah, we was talking about the past guest that I had. We was talking about uh mental health and therapy requiring money as well. I mean, uh
Hmm.
I don't know if everybody's insurance is not covered under insurance is not covered under mental health services, which I think it should be. I mean, it should be a regular service like any other service, you know,
Agree.
to where we go to the doctors regularly. We should be able to have mental health services that I think the government should implement more money into those programs, programs
Hmm.
for people to be able to have that. Um, as far as the education, is this the reason why you decided to go into the major that you're majoring in now in college?
Yes. So, when I was filing out paperwork to, go into grad school, I was kind of trying to figure out like what I wanted to do like long term
Mm-hmm.
and what my expertise would fall more in. And I took a passion in, psychology and studying the brain and kind of like figuring out how people interact with one another, as well as the the effects that the brain can have on those who deal with mental illnesses. So, one of the my mental health counseling program at my college, that is one of the best in the city.
Mm-hmm.
um I wanted to pursue that route because of wanting to just help people. I know like there's 5 different love languages, and mine would be like acts of service to
Mm-hmm.
serve people, and doing so would kind of entail improving the quality of life for people. So that was something big for me. And so, signing off that paperwork and sending in the requirements for the program and kind of like seeing how the program has been, and learning so much about mental health as a whole, about psychotherapy, group therapy, learning about the different ways that people are diagnosed, except in so many other aspects. I know people think that mental health is just you sitting in a chair, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not that. It's so many other aspects to therapy and so many different types of therapy.
That's
You
true.
have cognitive behavioral therapy, you have group therapy, you have, so many different ways of having a therapist, or just therapy being given to you without a therapist. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, like this avenue was something that I needed to do, and wanted to do as well.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Tell me about you serving as you was a former president for the Black Student Union in college.
Yes.
Um,
Hmm.
give me some information about what your job was as being a president.
I overseed, all of my other executives, as well as report back to our club advisor.
Mhm.
My other duties were, ensuring that we kind of sit on the most up-to-date information as far as Black people, like city-wise, countrywide, and then kind of report on that. Any events pertaining to celebrating like Black excellence as a whole, speaking on Black history, covering just everything in between when it comes down to Black people. And
Mhm.
so when we would have our club meetings, and our club members would come in and speak to us individually, some would say, we enjoyed the meeting, and they would give us suggestions to how the next meeting could go.
Mhm.
Um, One aspect that we wanted to really focus on was, mental health, and kind of how we could configure that into our meetings. And
Mhm.
so, like, an idea that I suggested to the executives, as long as myself, is kind of like ask people how are, your days are going.
Right.
How are you? Do you need to
Right.
speak, talk to somebody?
Mhm.
Um, I enjoyed the role. I really did. I enjoyed, serving for a very important organization, that really helped to uplift Black voices at our campus, because we know that Black people kind of get shoved to the back when speaking on a lot of different issues. And so a part of our mission statement was to ensure that our Black students at the campus was heard.
Mhm.
And we were able to accomplish that, even in the midst of still being online,
Mm-hmm.
we was able to do that.
Okay. All right. Now, as far as your treatment, what type of treatment did you use for yourself and for your mental health? Was it therapy and medication, or was it just medication, or what type of treatment did you go through that's helping you get through your
Um,
mental health?
Therapy has been, touch and go. I never was put on any types of medicine or
Mm-hmm.
medication. I think, also a support group
Okay.
really helped. It
Yeah.
was very helpful.
Okay.
It wasn't a support group of trauma dumping.
Mm-hmm.
It was more so of affirmation,
Okay.
being consistent, sending over like, you are this, you are that, and kind of reaffirming each other.
Mm-hmm.
Or like if somebody needed to speak individually, we did that too.
Okay.
Um, Therapy, it's touch and go.
Right.
Sometimes the therapist that you're with currently, kind of, you're ready for something new, and then sometimes you want to go back just because, you're going through a lot. And for me, it was kind of like, I didn't want to tell somebody I didn't know about my struggles. And I had to like remind myself, like, even, therapists need therapy because
Mhm.
of, the stories that people share with them and the things that they go through mentally. So,
Right.
therapy and support group has definitely been helping. Um, so that's been my way of dealing with what I deal with currently.
Right. What is it that you think, uh, as far as you did it mentioned about black men, which is true. A lot of black men do not seek therapy. Because they were taught to be strong and not to
Mhm,
deal with their emotions and to keep going. What
mhm.
is it that you would like to put out there to the audience, as far as men? Well, we know, mental health is a broad thing, but as far as
Absolutely.
black men, what is it? What message would you like to put out there for them as far as like their mental health?
It's not hard to ask for help. It's it's really not. And I was always taught to kind of like suck in my feelings. Don't share it. I don't know how deep we can get on here, but I just like to kind of keep it PG, like,
Right.
suck it up, that's for females.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically what we're taught, right? And having like a very misogynistic take on mental health for a lot of us, it was, I don't want to do that. I don't want to
Right.
share my feelings. I'm not weak,
Mm-hmm.
kind of demonizing feminine traits and being or having defined feminine energy and what that looked like.
Mm-hmm.
For brothers out there that are struggling or just don't trust therapy, my advice is to try. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you try something, you may or may not like it. You try something, it may or may not change your life. You
Mm-hmm.
try something, it may or may not be something that could propel you to the next level in your life. Therapy helped me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The way in which I outlook therapy, it kind of like moved me somewhere of a deeper consciousness of, you come first because if you're not good, you can't help people.
Right.
You can't be successful in what you do in your life.
That's true.
And then like, having three brothers who have autism, one who you hear right now,
Mm-hmm.
and then having to navigate that, with a lot with them being nonverbal.
Right.
Um,
Right.
it's not easy.
Right.
Everyone's life is different, and I know for Black men especially during the height of the Black Lives Matter movement, during the when it first began in 2012, and with Trayvon Martin, and then it re-emerging after the unaliving of Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor and George Floyd and Dante Wright, all these Black women and men losing their lives. Therapy for us should be essential. You
Yeah.
know, suicide rates is third leading cause for Black men.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard
Right.
already for us because of the stigma of mental
Right.
health in the Black community.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my advice, is to try. It won't hurt you, I promise.
No, it won't hurt at all. Mental health, you have to, your mind, you have to take care, like you said, you have to take care of yourself mentally because, you know, if you're not mentally right, how you can't, it's hard to get the rest of your life in order, you know.
Absolutely.
You gotta have, and that's something I had to learn myself because, I struggled with I share this a lot that I struggled with depression for a long time. And I had to realize that I had to take control of this thing and
Hmm.
not let it take control of me because,
Right.
you know, and this applies to anybody who has any kind of mental health issues. You don't want that to affect you overall. Anything could happen. You can snap. You can end up hurting somebody by accident. You can,
Right.
you're not purposely trying to hurt them, but you
Right.
can snap. You don't want to find yourself in prison. And this is the thing now I'm concerned about when it comes down to Black men because I hate to see the prison system is set up for Black men to be in there. And once they go into the prison system, as far from my knowledge, they're not really getting the mental health that they
Correct.
need in prison.
Yeah.
So when they get out of prison, they coming out with the same issues that they had before they got in there. And
Exacerbated.
it's a
Yeah.
repeated cycle, and then you're back in
Yeah.
prison again, so for all the Black men out there, it's very important for you to take care of your mental health. You should seek some sort of therapy, some counseling. There's resources. I mean, go if you go online, there's the hotlines, there's the CDC. There are some resources that you can reach out to, but we have to, as Black men, you have to take the initiative, and seek out that help because the last thing I hate to see is for Black men being put in prison. It's and that
Absolutely.
the system is set up for it to happen.
Yeah.
So before it get to that point, you need to take care of yourself because, like you said, you can't take care of nobody else if you ain't taking care of yourself first.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
but but yeah, you're also a content creator as well.
I am.
What type of content do you make? Is it more geared towards mental health?
It's a mixture of things that I speak on and do on like TikTok and on Instagram. So I've been a content creator for about 2+ years, going on 3 now.
Okay.
And for me, content creation has also been touch and go.
Right.
But speaking on my own story and my own bout with mental illness
Okay.
has kind of it started a community for people
Okay.
and people who have kind of spoken to me about their own battles with mental illnesses or unalivement or like attempting unaliving,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of how they navigated that.
Okay.
And as I've shared, Black Men Forum, that I go live on my platform, either Wednesdays or Thursdays, and
Mm-hmm.
I speak to brothers of all different creeds, codes, states, origin. They tell me, speak on like their, and it's kind of like the same thing, like
Right.
I was not given a safe space to share my feelings,
Right.
and so it's I love content creation. It kind
Right.
of it's been a new like road of creativity that I've taken
Mm-hmm.
where I'm able to express myself in a new way that I was not able to a couple of years ago prior to that. So yeah, I enjoy this. I enjoy what I do on the app and how I kind of, make boundaries and also a safety net and foundation for what we speak on.
Yeah, that's good because you're able to reach other people who are dealing with the same issues.
Yep,
And
yeah.
yeah, and it's good. The good thing about having these platforms and having social media has its good and bad. But the good part about social media is you can share your story with people who are going through different mental health issues. And
Yeah.
people that you're sharing your story to, they start to realize that they're not dealing with this issue alone because, when you're dealing with mental health, or any kind of illness, sometimes people are scared to speak about it because they think they're dealing with it alone.
Hmm.
And, you're afraid of being judged by someone, or
Hmm.
you're afraid to be called crazy, which is another stigma when it comes down to mental health. Mental health does not mean seeing a therapy doesn't mean you're crazy. It just means that you need somebody to talk to. And sometimes you need to go to a professional to talk to, because you don't want to talk to your friends, because your friends don't understand,
Yeah,
if they don't understand mental health, or if there is, it's better to go to someone who's more of a professional, at least from my opinion.
right.
Uh, and the fact that that what you talk to your therapist about is going to be, it's a safe place to be, and you ain't got to worry about your information being put out there unless you want to put it out there
Absolutely.
yourself, So,
Right.
what other things are you getting yourself into as far as like the mental health is concerned?
Um, the next step, obviously being a mental health counselor and kind of wanting to open up my own practice and help out people in, suffering innocent neighborhood communities that do not have a lot of resources that's at their disposal. Is
Mm-hmm.
kind of something else that I want to continue to pursue about that. So doing that and kind of creating a Black man focus group and
Okay.
doing something like that in person where we kind of come in and speak on our struggles and traumas and how we can move forward and create solutions so that
Mm-hmm.
the next generation of Black men don't have to suffer.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yep. Yep. So, do you have any um, emails or Instagram pages so people can follow you and stay in touch with you, just in case somebody needs to reach out to you as well? On
So my handles on Instagram is original.keith and my handle on TikTok is original.keith 4.2 and original.keith 2.2.
Okay.
So that's where I could be found. Email, THOKITH98@gmail.com. I'm pretty much available anytime.
Okay.
If I'm not, then, I'll let people know. But yeah, I'm very active on TikTok. Pretty much I speak on this very often as much as it needs to possibly be. But
Mhm.
yes, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. I appreciate you coming on again and sharing your story. And I would love to see more Black men come onto this platform and open up and talk about their mental struggles that they're going through. There's nothing to be ashamed of at all. Just because you're a man doesn't mean that,
Agree.
doesn't mean you can't uh, talk about what you're going through, because you're human.
Yes.
We're all human, and we all have feelings, we all have emotions, we all have things that we go through, but it's better to talk about it and let it out rather than hold it in, because holding it
Mm-hmm.
in is not healthy mentally nor physically, because it
Right.
does take a toll on you physically as well. So
It does.
it's good to talk to somebody in a group, or through professional therapy or advocate or whoever, but talk about it. Don't hold it in, because like I said, the last thing I hate to see is for our Black men going to prison or hurting somebody, because that's the way the system is set up. It's set up for you to go to prison.
Yeah.
And the best thing for you to do is seek mental health, so you could be a strong person mentally and physically, because and educate yourself. Education, that's another, we missed that
Very important.
part. You got to
Yes.
educate yourself on mental health. You got to
Right.
know all the symptoms, all the signs, all of that stuff. You need to know all of that in order to move forward in your life. So, but Jayvon, I really appreciate you coming on. Uh,
Thank you.
any last minute shout outs or things you want to say to anyone
I just
before
want
we close out?
to shout out my family and my really good best friend of 15 years. I appreciate y'all and thank you for having me on, Miss Hicks. I really do appreciate it.
Oh, I appreciate you too. Thanks for coming on and sharing your story, because somebody's watching and somebody's listening. And you spark the brain and change one. If you change one person, that's a lot. You don't
Right.
know how many people who are listening and who lives that you could be changing right now. So I
Absolutely.
really appreciate you coming on, Jayvon.
Thank you.
You take care of yourself. You have a good
You
one.
too. You
And
too.
take care of
Have a
those
good one.
brothers there.
I will.
All right. Take care. Bye bye.